All right, welcome back home, racing fans. Well, finally, I have the rest of them here. We did our first review of the car, the Bowman car. Thank you again, Dave Kennedy, for sending that in early. And very happy, very pleased. And like I said before, these cars were just needed in our hobby. We have such a variety of other cars. There was just no reason why we shouldn't have this series. It's just so popular on this side of the pond, recognizable. It's nothing but a good thing to get some new cars, especially when they're done right. And I think Carrera, for the most part, has done a pretty good job. On the outside, we'll go straight to the 9 car, the Chase Elliott. It's a beauty. Match anything up there with the prototype photos, and you're going to find out that Carrera has done a very, very acceptable job, at least in my opinion. And these cars being affordable like this, under the $40 mark. I know some brands that cost almost twice as much, and they don't look this good, or they're not any better. So again, hats off to Carrera, and the detail on the interior. We talked about that. It's there. It's just part of the appeal of the car overall to me. Anyway, that sharp looking, all right, William Byron, the Raptor scheme. Man, what a color, right? Yeah, only the driver could love. No, I'm kidding. It does look pretty cool, and they did a nice little fade job on there. And I've got it apart here, but Larson on the 5 car. Oh, just sharp. Again, well done. Like I said, just do your own research. You'll make up your own determination. So anyway, there we are on the outside. All of these cars, like I said, Carrera's done a very acceptable job, at least to me. This one has seen some combat, I can tell you that, and it's holding up. It's holding up just fine, surprisingly. Anyway, we're going to talk a little bit about some wheels and tires and stuff like that, and a little bit of light tuning. But again, I just can't say how happy I am to finally see these. Thank you, Carrera. I'll throw the graphic up there for the dimensions, but overall, Carrera's done really well. Within about $1 million, and it's more than acceptable in our hobby. So when you measure them, and I'm sure you will, I think you'll come to the same conclusion. So as much as I appreciate the effort on these cars, the wheels and tires, not everyone's going to be a fan. If you're just throwing them out on the plastic track, just having some fun, things are going to work just fine. But for some of us, wood tracks, non-magnet, they don't provide the best grip. I'm not the biggest fan of the Carrera rubber. You can clean them and you can treat them, and they'll hook up pretty well for a while. But overall, we always like to have more tire choices. The problem is with this wheel and the design of it, we have really nothing that fits, or at least that's just a slip-on without any modifications. We're going to get to that in a second. But Carrera's wheel design is just not ideal to me, but the way they have it is it's a 2-piece design, and we've shown this before because they changed it a couple years ago. You have these little tabs here, okay, and the insert, the wheel design, pops in, okay, like that, as you can see here. Pops out, pops in, and that's great, really. If you wanted to change designs and such, they'd be efficient. But I don't know of any other wheel that uses this size. They could have used the GT wheel on this car, but they made a new wheel. But anyway, that's part one. That's not an issue, no big deal. The insert looks good. The problem comes from this part. When you measure the difference with the wheels. So we'll snap this back on. Okay, there we go. There we go. We are locked. And the fitment of the tires is affected by the diameter here, here, and here. So let's talk about that. Here's the issue. Just like on the cars before it with this new wheel, you have diameter here right around 15.25, something like that. Put that on there. I'm sorry, 15 and a half right there. All right, so let's zero this out, and we'll go to the inside. And you have to be careful because you have some areas that are a little lower because of these tabs. But we'll go ahead and we'll give you that. And you're looking at right there about 14. So you have a difference between the rim on the inside and the outside, which makes it very difficult to get tires that'll fit. As a matter of fact, even a stock tire, when you put it on here and you look at it under close inspection, you can see the gap right there inside. Even the stock tires don't fit the wheels all the way. See that? Look at there. So Quick Slicks and Paul Gage are making new tires to fit this wheel, so we should have some slip-on options. But until then, I'm gonna show you one that you will have to work on a little bit, but it might help you, might get the job done until the correct tires come along. So let's talk about it. Before we get to those tires, I just want to share with you the relationship here between the axle and the body. It isn't 100% directly in the middle. You can see that it's just shifted just about a mil or so to the rear. It's not that evident at first, but when you start looking closer, checking for tires, you can see it. And the problem is that with some aftermarket tires that we've tried already, that right here, right around 2:45, 3 o'clock, it gets real close right there. Now, there's no rubbing on the stock tires. It's very close. But not only does the size of the wheel and the different dimensions on the outer and inner rim come into play, but then we have to make sure that we have, that's right, clearance. So let me show you the tire that I've tested. Like I said, it's going to take a little bit of work. We're going to try the Paul Gage, and this is the 2013 8 LMXD. That's the extra deep for the rib. Again, it's not a slip-on. So let's get it on the wheel and I'll show you. Okay, we're just going to take the tire, slip it on, and there you go. You will notice that there is a little tapering effect right there. See where it's lower here than on the outside? Remember, that's because the inner rim there is a little bit less diameter than the outer. So we have this. The other thing is, you can see it's really close, that the flash molding here on the tires, which is a part of urethanes, is just about rubbing on the chassis, but really not that bad. Okay. And finally, fitment. We'll put this together, and I've tested it, and you can see how close that is. On this side, a little bit closer, a few thousandths. I've ran it under power, and I want you to see that it was just rubbing just a little bit right there. Now, can you just slip them on and go? Yeah, they'll sand themselves all right. Urethane will do that. They're easy to contour, they're easy to sand. I wouldn't recommend it. If I were you, I'd get out the tire machine, work on the wheels a little bit. We're going to round them up, and then we're going to work on truing up the tires, and we'll have a lot better result. But we're close. Not perfect. Like I said, it's not a slip-on. You could run them, and they're probably going to do a little bit better than the stock tires for a lot of you out there in non-magnet land, wood track land. But if you're doing that, then you probably already have a good tire machine to use. So let's use that. And there you go. We're not going to go too far here, and we're only concerned about the face of the inner rib. I'm not trying to do anything with the outer and inner rims, just the big facing here, and we've got it pretty much all the way. You can tell, like right here, you got a little of the shiny yet, the paint left. That's a good indicator, a wear indicator, that how far you've gone. You don't have to go very far at all. We're just going enough to make sure they're as round as we can make them, and that'll be a good base for when we put the tires on. So let's get those installed. We'll work on those next. You can use your favorite adhesive, but in this case I'm still going to go with the Sally Hansen's Hard as Nail nail polish. Not going to need a lot here. It's easy to peel off too, so just a little coat like that. Don't need to soak it down. There we go. With our tire, make sure you have the flash molding to the inside. That's the way it comes out of the mold, and slips right on. The nail polish almost acts like a lubricant, helps bring it on. And I like using it because it holds, but it gives you time to work with. Super glue doesn't give you much time to work with. Even the slow setting, I don't like using it. You can when you're done. You can go on the inside, you can add some, but this will work just fine. So now we'll take this and we'll just give it a good roll. There we go. Yeah, I'm just checking here on the outside, just looking at that, just visually inspecting. Yeah, about as good as it's gonna get. Yeah, we're all right. Okay, we'll take this one off. We'll glue it. I just had it on there to test fit, so we'll get some glue on this one, glue it up. I'll wait about 15 minutes, then we'll get it back on the machine. So let me throw something at you. You may not know about this stuff, but liquid electrical tape. Let me tell you. Yeah, I know. I shook my head and I said, what? The first time someone showed it to me. But we use this in RC hobby to repair punctures in our crawler tires, insulate the wires, etc. It is exactly what you would imagine it to be. And I'll tell you this, it is extremely tough stuff. Okay? So, with this gap back here that we have with the tires, I thought, you know what, this would be a great idea to use some of this. So just with a toothpick, I went in here and just added a layer and worked it down in there all the way around and sealed it. Two things are going to happen. First of all, this stuff is really strong. This tire, well, you've just improved the security of the tire on the wheel, I can tell you that. And you filled in that gap there, giving it just a little bit of a base when it dries. The downside, you're going to have to wait about 4 hours or something for that to completely cure. It's nothing you need to do. It's just if you wanted to fill that gap for whatever reason, try this stuff. And by the way, it works great, again, like for your light kits and stuff, to insulate them and to insulate from behind, to stop bleed through. It's solid gold. Anyway, thought I'd share it. And if you do decide to use it, once you apply that, just take a Q-tip and go along the inside. You can just push it down there further and it'll smooth that bead off all the way around, cleans it up nicely. So it's all filled in and it's going to be strong. Alright, I'm at 6 volts with 400 grit, doing one wheel at a time here. As you can see the material coming off. We want 100% facing across this tire. So it's going to take us a little bit, but that's fine. It's not a problem. You can tell when you're sanding the tire where you haven't sanded yet. The shiny spots there. That's a great visual indicator. Anyway, I'll show you the finished result here in just a minute. Well, we got a pretty good mess here. But this is the profile I was talking about all the way across. Now we're going to sand on the inside and the outside just a little bit, but you can already tell the difference. So I'll just use some 400 grit. Just fold it over like that. Go on the inside. Hold it right there. Go as far as you need to go. And then you can also use it just to shape and contour the outside edges. And you want to do that. You want to round those off. The sharp edges there, they can cause some chattering. So you want to smooth that off. So not only does it help with the clearance with the body, but performance as well. But looking pretty good. And for a final polish, so to speak, just a little bit of water on a sponge and right around 6 volts or so. Put that up against there. You wouldn't think so, but it gives it a good polish, smooths it out, and you see the way the sponge just contours itself around the tire, inside, outside. That's what you want. And yeah, that. Okay, first up, box stock. And that's what I mean, straight out of the box. No tires, no nothing. We'll give it a run. It's like we did in our first video. See, it's not bad. Look at that. That's stock rubber. Nothing done. Nothing. And 3283. So I said in the first video there was potential with this car. Right? Okay. So that's box stock. And now right here, just with the tires. That's all we're gonna do. Okay, let's see where we're at here. Oh yeah, what a difference. At 12 volts, I'm not going any higher. Some people talked about, what about higher voltage? You can run it any voltage you want. I don't need to go over 12, and most people can't handle that. So I like 12 volts. That's my maximum. A lot of times 10.5, but yeah, so this is 3.1. Oh, look at there. But 3042 with a fast lap. Yeah, leave it to me. And there we go, just a tire change, no other modifications. And there's plenty more to do. We're going to talk about trimming the front wheels and tires, the guide, getting some body float, and folks have already talked about replacing it with different wheels and gears. We've done all that before. These cars aren't that much different than all the GT cars and other releases before them. Standard inline chassis, what worked years ago, will work on these. We'll cover all that, but I just wanted to see just some good tires out here, non-magnet on the wood, and what a difference. And this is my release of the year. Yeah, we can talk about the Datsuns and etc. and so forth, but these, for our overall hobby on this side of the pond, these are really important. We needed them, and Carrera did it right. Not just one car, because one car just doesn't cut it anymore. Four lanes right out of the gate, and I hope that from what I'm seeing, the response, that this prompts Carrera to go out and secure some more licensing and bring us some other cars. But right now, we got some really cool cars in front of us. And if I were you, I'd pick them up and start enjoying them. Anyway, thanks for hanging around. And I always look forward to your feedback out there. Please, you can email me, PM me. Just let me know what you think. If you get these cars, just report, show some photos, and let us know what you did. Anyway, hope you guys are having a great one out there. We'll talk to you later.